EA Sports and the Wolf Creek Golf Club so proudly present opening round coverage of the EA Sports Spring Invitational. Today we're here at Wolf Creek Golf Club in Mesquite, Nevada. Rich Loader alongside Frank Nobilo set to bring you all of the action for the EA Sports Spring Invitational. And Frank, what can the players expect from Wolf Creek?
Just a mesmerizing layout, Rich. You can see that from above. Straight driving is imperative out there today. You actually don't have to hit the ball a long way. The elevation on those tees is going to give you that extra distance on almost every shot. You can even take driver out of play on some of the holes. But really it's about being in the right position first on those tee shots that you're going to hit today. That's fine.
A great way to start a hole, nicely placed in the fairway.
Second shot.
Frank, what does the shot into this first green look like?
Well, it's back a little bit up the hill. Bunkers left and right, really the biggest concern, but a well-flighted shot to this three-level green will be well rewarded. Not too bad. It's about 23 feet away.
He didn't hit the flagstick, but he still has a chance. Birdie chance here. Very long putt, though.
Got to be a little careful if it gets away on him.
Well, once you're on the green, I think you know this. The idea is to keep it on the green. This one's on the fringe. Frank, how does that par help his cause?
It certainly doesn't hurt it.
Frank, you need to be a bit of a rock climber just to get to this second tee. 445-yard hole. What a view. He has given this one the full treatment. Perfect release through the ball. And this shot is on the fairway, over 300 yards.
There's a bunker over there.
I think he's headed for it. Somehow that managed to miss the bunker, Frank.
Yeah, that looked like it was sand for sure.
Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. That was a nice birdie, and no doubt he's feeling pretty good about his position on this leaderboard.
A series of good holes in a row has got him to this point.
Now on to the third, first of the short holes here at Wolf Creek. Uphill shot, Frank?
Yes, it's going to play a little longer because of that. Then it's 227 yards off the back tee. Hard to imagine you have a par 3 in amongst this desert. And really, that's all it is. Tee and green. There's not much in between. Well protected, as you can see, by those bunkers. And this green a little smaller than what you'd like for a hole that's around that 230-yard mark.
Second shot coming out of the rough here.
Always tough to get a decent flight out of the rough. And you could see that ball was never soaring out of that light.
Frank, this is where the mental game really comes into play. You've hit a second consecutive shot into the rough.
This could compound very, very quickly. So now's a chance to just take a little breath, take a breather, and try to make sure this shot certainly gets out.
How about that shot right there from that lie in the rough to knock it that close? That's good. Even par early on. And we pick up action at the fourth. Frank, when you get out of the gates, as our featured golfer has done, with a lot of pars, steady play, what's the mindset?
You've got to keep doing that, Rich. Just maybe get a little closer to the hole, drive a little bit better, work on the pace of the putting. Just little gains, and then all of a sudden you're going to notice a big difference in the scorecard.
That's a good start to the hole, right down the middle. Good chance to make birdie here, Frank, as we get set for the approach here at the fourth hole.
The fourth green, as you can see, is set in a little bit of a bowl with that backdrop behind it. Really the biggest problem is if you come up short, that false front, it does feed off the right and the left side there. So, shot not quite hit as well as you would like, can still kick towards the flag.
Birdie try up next.
Even par currently.
Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Settles in over the putt. He'll take par and move on. Now to the par 5 fifth hole. Cut it over the ridge here, Frank?
Well, if you can, if you dare. And there is actually a stream here. I know we're in the middle of a desert, but if you can clear that stream, that's the main thing. This is a crazy-looking tee shot because it looks like you want to go down that canyon area, but if you don't know the exact distance you fly the ball, then you're going to be in lots and lots of problems. Those collection of 3 bunkers down the right side, as long as you can avoid that, then that second shot to this par 5, that's not overly long, it's just under 500 yards, is certainly reachable. Second shot will play uphill to a elevated green with, once again, 3 different levels.
Not his best shot, and now he'll have to deal with a bunker.
Yeah, they say the hardest shot in golf, the next one.
All right, so greenside bunker. What's he looking to do with this shot, Frank?
Well, really you have to look at the amount of green you got to play with. You don't have to try and fly the ball right by the flag. Allow it to run. Plus, if you can get it to run like a putt, you never know. It might just go in.
Pretty good shot. That ball settles in about 13 feet away.
You'd like to think unlucky for some, but birdie putt coming up. It's at sneaky distance.
came to the putt excited to make birdie. Now, settle for par.
Yeah, a little change in the attitude right now. When you've let one go, you've got to really knuckle down there and make sure you don't drop a shot. It's important this one goes in.
Looks like he just misread that. "17-foot putt here. Not quite enough on that one, couple of feet short.
Yeah, hopefully he taps it in. Not his best, but hopefully it's just 2 putts.
Not a gimme, but well within his range. Wow, he got robbed, Frank.
No, it's like kissing your mother-in-law.
This, I hate to say it, for a triple bogey. So, with that, 3 over par now for the round. Frank, here at the 6th, where are you looking to land the ball off the tee?
Got to be careful here for the longer hitters, Rich. Driver actually might be too much. That stream that we just saw at the par 5 fifth hole, it also comes across here. So something that lands short of that, which is in the vicinity of 280, 290 yards. That's the key. From there, well, you're not going to have too much more in, sort of 140, 150 yards in. It is a dogleg right, but find that fairway there. Second shot played just a fraction uphill. And this green, it's got more humps and hollows in it. It's to be expected, though. This course is absolutely crazy.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. Frank, how about 16 of the 18 holes here at Wolf Creek feature elevated tees?
And that gives you those constant vistas. You've got to take a camera, actually, when you go and play Wolf Creek, because if you stand on some of these tees, you don't just see the one hole in front of you. You look around and you go, this is amazing how you can put a golf course in this area.
Solid play, heart of the green. "21 feet from pay dirt. So frustrating sometimes on the greens, isn't it? Drop shot here at the 6th. Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. So the short miss, and those are painful. Finally in for a double bogey. Now on to the par 4 7th hole. Is this a reachable par 4, Frank?
Distance-wise, you would think so, but the designer has done something to avoid that, and that's put all this water in front of the green. It would take a mammoth tee shot, and that's something like 300 yards through the air if you're going to try and even drive this green. Is the risk worth it? Well, if you're just playing with your friends, maybe it is. Otherwise, you just lay it up just past those those bunkers on the right and the left. Get it down there on the flat.
Good news is, was able to retrieve the golf ball.
Yeah, on dry land, and can he carry it this time, though?
Third shot now, after the last one found the deep blue.
Yeah, you can still minimise the damage here. It's only one bad shot that you got punished for.
Can't hide the flagstick from that man. Frank, you can see by the reaction, it has been that kind of week. Just a few too many pars. Frank, the 8th here at Wolf Creek in Mesquite, Nevada is really the signature par 3, isn't it?
I'd go so far, Rich, to say this is a great par 3. Doesn't matter where it was played. The stream that sort of comes all the way down there and surrounds the left side of this green makes this hole really daunting. Logic would say if you're going to miss this green, obviously you'd miss it to the right, but it's just a beautiful hole. And then you put the fact that the canyon frames the whole hole itself. It's beautiful.
Tugged that one a little bit offline to the left, and he'll pay a bit of a price because that rough is fairly thick. Frank, not easy to keep your eye on the target when you've just splashed down.
Yeah, but on the flip side too, one bad shot doesn't have to lead to two.
Now on to his 3rd shot after the last one went into the water. Well, Frank, this is something we've seen more and more of in recent years, players just on the fringe.
Yeah, it's good to see. It shows he's thinking. You don't just have to grab the lob wedge. That's it. Hybrid, putt, you name it, whatever works. And it was almost like that's what he wanted to do, but why would you want it to run over the back?
And he's made the green. Shouldn't be a problem here. Couple shots over par. Set to round out the front side here at Wolf Creek with a par 4.
Fun hole for the big hitter too. They can really take advantage of this. The last fairway bunker down there on the right side is just over 300 yards to get over it. And longer hitters could nearly drive it in the green side bunker on the right. So just tee it up there. You're playing desert golf for a reason. Enjoy it. Just have a little flick in here. And chance too that have a little birdie at the end of your front 9.
Well, it looks as though they're going to need to use all their strength to sort of hack it out of that rough, missing it off the tee here. You have to think he'll be happy with that, given that it looked like it was headed right for the rough.
Yeah, it looked like that was the only place it was going to finish. But, well, it's a little bit unexplainable. Let's see what he does from here now. Lucky break.
This is a good-looking shot. So a chance for birdie after another solid approach shot. Wow, almost whiffed on that putt. Came right out of it. Well short. Locked in on the read and the speed. This golf course has been demanding today, and the scores reflect that. 7 over par. Frank, the nice thing about golf is that if you struggle on that front side, you can take a breath and you can regroup and you can get something going on the back 9.
During a round of golf, there's so many little things you can do, especially when you're a little awry. Check the ball position. Maybe you're starting to focus too much on swing rather than actually the shots in hand. You know, this is not heading in the right direction.
You know, it looks like it's going to be in the rough. just a little offline, so now, Frank, he's going to have to deal with a rough.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how strong he is.
Second shot from the rough. It's on the way. Early part of this back nine and a good approach shot. Now we'll have this for birdie.
It's no snack, though.
Oh, man. You can't miss him from that distance. These putts keep the round together. In for par. We're here at the downhill par 3 11th hole. Frank, it's 215 yards from the back tee.
This hole certainly is not for the faint of heart. When you look at that tee shot, you think, oh my God, what do I do from here? But remind yourself, it's 215 yards and really only about 160, 170 yards to green grass again. But it's 215 yards. That should be the club that you're trying to pick. Green's big enough, just persuade yourself. Try not to look at the canyon and the desert. There is a green down there. The hole is playable.
Chance for birdie after that beautiful shot. And it's a long way to the hole from here. Never easy.
That was a good run at it, Rich.
From about 8 feet. And he has it.
A good putt redeems all.
Frank, the par 5 12th is another case of a hole where you see that Wolf Creek Golf Club can actually be kind of scary, daunting. When you look out at the desert mountains and then you add in some water, which we have here on the left, and you can go for some big numbers here if you're not careful.
Well, this is where the Wolf and the Creek can take a bite out of you. You hit it left off the tee, then you're certainly going to start to rack up a number. There's enough fairway down the right, but once again, if you hit a good drive and this hole is reachable for you, then you've got to worry about the water, which is to the right of this green. 5 wouldn't be the worst score you could make around here, that's for sure. I've seen 6s and 7s.
Paying attention like a little kid at school, Frank. That baby's sitting up.
Sitting up. It's got the best view as well. You don't even need binoculars from where that ball is.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Early part of this second nine with a good approach shot. And now, pretty good chance for birdie.
Really? This is an awkward length. Can't birdie them all, Rich.
You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Frank, you hear it so often. This is a game of dealing with your miscues.
That's the beauty of this game of golf. It giveth and it taketh away.
Everything has gone wrong today. Just continues to be ugly. 13th hole here at Wolf Creek, and Frank, anyone can say, oh, I'm going to take this one over the trees. But very few can stand up and say, I'm flying this baby clear over the mountains.
Yeah, if you take the direct route, obviously it's going to be much shorter than the 350 yards that it's measured as a dogleg right. So the direct line, well, I don't want to tell you the exact yardage because it might give you too much of a clue, but it might be worth taking. It's going to be a blind tee shot, though, and you're not quite sure on the outcome.
Always makes the hole easier, playing it from the fairway. Well, Frank, as we know, golf is not played generally on a flat surface, and here we go, uphill.
Yeah, and the uphill lie is going to guarantee you more loft than normal, so you're going to have to counteract that with maybe an extra club.
Well, that is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
Looking to make a move. This putt for birdie. This can be a cruel game at times. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Has his par. Fourteenth hole here at Wolf Creek. Time to pull out the driver and as well the phone because you want to take some pictures here.
Yeah.
What a spectacular view.
Stunning. You can see a whole panoramic sort of 360 degrees right around this golf course. Then when you flick back and actually look at the 14th hole, there's 6 bunkers. 3 really in play with the tee shot, as you can see. The other 3 just up by the green. Anything to the right of those is preferred, unless you want to be playing your second shot out of the canyon or the bunkers. Green should be fairly receptive, and 3 distinct portions, which is sort of a common trait here at Wolf Creek. That's sort of 3 different tier levels and that. But let's see, birdies that to be made at Wolf Creek, maybe even one here. There's a bunker over there.
I think he's headed for it. Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up. He'll need to be strong with this. Frank, not close, but from that lie, not bad.
Oh, that's excellent. Seriously, given the conditions, Rich.
Getting set now over the putt. Oh, hello there. Really nice putt. Now to the par 3 15th hole here at Wolf Creek. Frank, this is the shortest hole on the course.
And their version of a postage stamp type hole, minus the bunkers on the right side. Green elevated, falls off as you can see down the left side. Club selection is vital, but it is such a short hole. It's very, very tempting, especially when that flag's on the left side, to still go at it. But you miss this green on the left, and you are going to be considerably lower than the level of this green.
Well, the stats say that is a green hit in regulation, but it's not yet a par on the card. Very tough putt coming up. Pretty good stroke right there. Just hit it through the break.
Well, it's that sort of distance. If it goes in, it's a bonus.
Not a gimme, but well within his range. just singes the edge, Frank.
Yeah, but at least he's burning the edges. You know you're hitting good putts.
An ill-timed double bogey for him, but he has to make it first. Been a rocky round. Now to the 16th hole as we get set for the finishing stretch. And Frank, what's the best way to play this relatively short par 4?
Somehow you've got to straighten the hole up in your mind's eye, Rich. Just look all the way across that canyon and look like the hole was built straight, because really that's the way it should be played. If you start looking left and turning it into a dogleg, then all of a sudden bad things can happen. So look straight at the green. That's your line. Just try and bisect those 2 fairway bunkers.
Frank, you're in the business of analyzing golf shots.
I don't want to see that one again.
Well, we've seen this before today, in the bunker. And right on 145 yards left to the flagstick.
In the direction of the sand.
It looks like it. Frank, you always start out thinking about going low, but you know in this game you can end up feeling low. What do you tell a player who's had an off day?
Well, this is as much about managing your misses as celebrating your great shots. You look at the best players in the world, they know how to play bad better than anybody.
Pretty good shot right there. Locked in on the read and the speed. So close.
And yet it still counts for another shot.
You can see the look of disgust, and it's justifiable. It's a double bogey. Frank, this is really a cool closing stretch here at Wolf Creek. Short par 3 15th, the short 4 at the 16th, and now the par 5 17th. You can make up some ground in a hurry as you come down the finishing stretch.
You certainly can. A good drive short of the little stream creek that runs across there, and this is doable as a 2-shotter. You find the bunkers or trouble off the tee, then obviously you're forced to lay up, leaving that 3rd shot across the water. But really a fun hole if you want to try and take that 2nd shot on.
Pretty good drive here.
Another straight one.
It's nice to roll in a 25-footer now and then. Those feel good. But still, there's nothing like hitting that perfect tee ball. Long and straight.
Yeah, you can puff out your chest, last to play, the advantage, holes shorter. Basically, the list goes on.
Well, this one should be safely on deck here. It is on the green, but that will be a tough putt on the way. Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
Frank, a little too amped up trying to make eagle there?
Oh, well, you don't get the opportunity every day, Rich, so can't blame him for that. That birdie's the consolation prize.
Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Been a little too much of that, Frank. Just sort of ho-hum pars. Now the closing hole here at Wolf Creek. Frank, what's ahead of us?
You could try and drive at this green, but there's too much trouble, really, Rich. Even though this hole's just over 300 yards, it's very ambitious to try and drive across that water. Some might try. Most people try and hit a tee shot 240, 250 yard mark, and of course, you do the maths, you're only going to have 60 or 70 yards in, and well, they want you to finish on a good note. So good drive in the fairway here, or 3-wood, pitch it on the green, make a 3, and buy your friends a drink in the clubhouse.
So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. See if he does it here.
Getting set for this next shot from the rough, what does the player need to be careful of here, Frank?
Well, this is where we're going to see exactly how good they are, because, you know, that's not exactly the best lie, but it's sort of doable if you know what you're doing.
Frank, it's not about getting the ball close to the hole from that spot.
Well, he had no chance to get it close. I thought he had very, very, very little chance of getting it on the green. So, given that, that was a very good shot.
How does that not go in? Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. So looking at the leaderboard, there is one name that really jumps out, and it's Rory McIlroy. He is now only 2 shots behind the leader. And that'll wrap up the first round. We saw some good golf today, Frank, but some others, they got off to a slow start.
Yeah, and I don't really know how to explain why. Maybe lack of practice rounds, maybe not enough time on the golf course. They certainly will have to regroup tomorrow and put up a show just to make the cut.
EA Sports and the Wolf Creek Golf Club so proudly present second round coverage of the EA Sports Spring Invitational. Always some extra excitement when you get to the first major championship of the year, and here we are. Rich Lutter alongside Frank Nobilo. We're at Wolf Creek Golf Club in Mesquite, Nevada for the EA Sports Spring Invitational. Partner, this is a big one.
It certainly is, Rich, and being the first major of the year, you know the players are going to be a little bit more nervous. Anticipations of a great year are going to start right here this week at Wolf Creek, and you're going to have to make all those adjustments out there. Is your game ready? Can you adjust for the changes in elevation? And do you have the confidence to go all the way and pick up the first major championship of the year?
Just a good solid tee shot right there, about 280 yards.
Second shot.
This one will play a little bit longer. It's up the hill to that green. This is a good-looking shot. He's making the game look very simple right now. See it, hit it, and he's got it right on track. Made a par in his previous round. This time, it's for birdie. That had to really hurt Frank because it looked good all the way.
Well, this will test his mettle.
And getting ready for the putt. That is a solid par putt right there. Frank, there's so many impressive holes here at Wolf Creek, but the second really stands out.
Yeah, that tee box, is it 9 stories high? It's hard to imagine you can tee up that high, and obviously trying to judge distance is one thing, but also just the visual that you get.
You can see a little bit off balance on the tee, and that one is going to be in the rough. Well, he pays a price for that.
Yeah, when you don't see the top of the ball in the rough, you know it's not sitting pretty. You'll need a bit of force to extract one out of there.
Frank, anything you do differently from the rough in terms of your swing? Do you hinge the club a little bit more quickly?
No, normally put the ball just a little bit further back in your stance because you want the club to be going down. Down, it's got to go down through the grass, through the ball.
Missed that one, and it is going towards the rough. Not what he wanted, but he's headed to the beach. Frank, there's nothing like catching a bunker shot just perfectly. Splashes out, lands softly, and just runs up to that hole.
Yeah, it's like 3D. There's the component in the strike where it's going to land, and then the third part of it is how much will it roll.
Simple, solid, and he'll take it.
But one that you need to make.
Frank, 227 yards from the back tee here at the par 3/3. This is all you want.
Oh, that's for sure. Plays a little longer than that, too, by virtue of playing uphill. Thin air might negate some of that. There's going to be a good shot just to keep the ball on the green. One of the smaller greens here.
Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up. Second shot coming out of the rough here. It is always so disappointing from that kind of a spot when you come up short.
Yeah, you're licking your chops over that one. A shot you think you could hit directly at the flag. Now, test for the short game.
And from the rough, he manages to not only make the green, but get within easy striking distance of the hole. That really hurts, Frank, missing the bogey putt.
Yeah, now time to get the handkerchief. Double bogey coming up.
These putts keep the round together. Frank, how do you explain what we saw here?
It's a mess. It's probably the easiest way to put it. This is a case of anything that could go wrong. Not just probably, it did.
Here at the fourth, 383 yards from the back tee, it's a dogleg right, but Frank, looking at all of those bunkers, you could really make a mess of this hole if you stray.
You can. That's why you've got to simplify it. Just something there that's going to find the fairway. Even like 3-wood and a wedge, that's really all this hole's going to require. Avoid the canyons on the left and in the desert, as well as just, I don't know how many bunkers there is on the right side. So a little bit of fairway up the left, find that there, and really, you should be looking at a birdie putt. Common thread here, rough, rough, rough.
Wrong way again. Frank, way offline all day long.
Yeah, this is a head scratcher, really. Seen him play before. Normally much better than this. This is abnormal, that's for sure.
And setting up here in the rough.
It's tough to take an extra club out of that lie, Rich, because it's always in the back of your mind. If you hit it properly, it's going to email the green.
He gave that one everything he had. I mean, really gouged it, and still, it was short. Into the thick stuff, that's a difficult lie. Frank, you always talk about it not compounding the error, but here again, another shot from the rough.
Yeah, if you try again.
That's a disappointment right there, Frank.
Yeah, green light special, really. Come up considerably short.
Well, bunker play is really about technique and feel. The two greatest ever are probably Gary Player and Seve Ballesteros. Seve actually was so good, he was so skilled, that he could open up a 3-iron, that's right, a 3-iron, on a short bunker shot from a green side bunker and splash it to a couple of feet as if he had just used a 60-degree sand wedge. Amazing. Well, that is frustrating. Frank cannot get it out of the bunker.
He's not done yet.
In the green side bunker, Frank, little bit of a problem. Well, double par here, time to pick up and move on. Now to the par 5 fifth hole. Cut it over the ridge here, Frank?
Well, if you can, if you dare. And there is actually a stream here. I know we're in the middle of a desert, but if you can clear that stream, that's the main thing. This is a crazy-looking tee shot because it looks like you want to go down that left, down that canyon area, but if you don't know the exact distance you fly the ball, then you're going to be in lots and lots of problems. Those collection of 3 bunkers down the right side, as long as you can avoid that, then that second shot to this par 5, that's not overly long, it's just under 500 yards, is certainly reachable. Second shot will play uphill to a elevated green with, once again, 3 different levels.
Frank, what's it going to take here on this approach at the par 5?
Well, some people might actually try and bounce it in between those 2 bunkers and run the ball up on the green, but personally, I try and actually take a hybrid or something with a little bit more loft and try and fly the ball. Take those 2 bunkers out of play.
Digs into the bunker, getting set to play the 3rd shot. Safely aboard. Settles in over the putt. Oh, man.
Just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. He'll take par and move on. Frank, standing on the 6th tee and looking out at this golf course, I can't help but think that if you hit it offline here, you're going to be playing golf with the billy goats.
Yeah, you might actually turn into a billy goat come the end of the day, that's for sure. The huge elevation changes, once again, are apparent here at the 6th. 'Tis a dogleg to the right, not really a driver unless you want to sort of bring that creek into play or that little stream that cuts across. Second shot, a little bit uphill. Those bunkers are really where you shouldn't go, we all know that. And this green is anything other than flat. A fun-looking hole, too, and a fun hole to play.
Long drive, but a bad lie.
Wicked.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. This one is definitely heading left. Looks like it is going to end up in the rough. Frank, better than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that looked like it was headed for that thick stuff the whole way, but a little fortunate. But then I guess you're allowed that in this game.
Nice approach shot. He'll be happy with that. Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either.
Whoa, that was unexplainable. I thought that was easily going to be a par.
Now he'll have to focus, try to make bogey. He needs this for bogey. Don't leave it short. Wow. Been a rocky round. Frank, a very short par 4 here at the 7th, but not one you're going to try to hit off the tee?
No, unless you can fly the ball sort of 300 yards on the nose and stop it within sort of 5 or 6 yards, it's really too risky. This green is not very deep, just sort of 10 or 15 yards in depth. It's just a layup hole, but layup hole it simply doesn't mean grab a club and hit it down the fairway. The best way to play it is to try and hit the ball right on the number. And where I mean by number, I mean the full shot yardage for your second shot, even if that only is a sand.
Good news is, was able to retrieve the golf ball.
Yeah, on dry land, and can he carry it this time, though?
Third shot now, after the last one found the deep blue.
Yeah, you can still minimize the damage here. It's only one bad shot that you got punished for.
Frank, this is one you don't practice, but sometimes you have to do it. Time for the drop.
Yeah, it should be the easiest shot in golf. You've just paid for it.
Miss hit, wrong club. What happened there, Frank?
All of the above, maybe. It's a little bit of a head scratcher. It wasn't that hard a shot.
Frank, it's been that kind of a tournament. Another bogey.
Yeah, it's not exactly a small gap between that player there and the rest of the field. That gap's got to feel like the Grand Canyon right now.
This is a good-looking shot. Good, clean contact and a nice result. And a chance for birdie coming up. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Came to the putt, excited to make birdie. Now, settle for par.
Yeah, little change in the attitude right now. You've let one go. You've got to really knuckle down there and make sure you don't drop a shot. It's important this one goes in.
Frank, that's a par, and onward we go. Finishing up this front side here at the par 4 ninth, 390 yards, and what are we looking at, Frank?
Well, it looks relatively straightforward, but it's anything other than that. Decision time again. Do you lay it up into that wide area of the fairway? If you're a longer hitter and you are out here to have a little bit of fun, then maybe you want to take the head cover off because you get a little bit of an advantage if you can drive it over that last bunker on that right side, or at least take that out of play because you're only going to have a short pitch in here.
High winds, high scores. Let's see if he can put something together late. Frank, that ball's sitting up like it's on plush carpeting.
Rich, if you and I had lies like that every time, we'd still be playing this game for a living.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Chance to close out the front side here with a birdie.
Really? This is an awkward length.
Frank, we haven't seen a whole lot of that, but no doubt it feels good. Well, let's hope he can regain some ground here on the back nine. Not his best performance so far today.
But what a good back nine would do. If he can just even this round out with just 9 good holes, so much can happen. Oh, this is heading in the wrong direction.
Uh-oh. And into the thicker stuff.
Let's see if he can bludgeon this one out.
Second shot from the rough. It's on the way. Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up. All right, now another shot from the rough.
Yeah, this time better be better than the one we just saw.
Respectable shot right there. 20 feet or so from the hole. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Just hammered that par putt, Frank.
Well, I don't know what he was thinking or what was going through his mind right there, but he better wake up in a hurry, because if this one doesn't go in, then that score's going to rack up very quickly.
You couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. Frank, you know full well, this can be a humbling game.
And an embarrassing game.
Frank, another really rugged hole. This is the par 3 11th here at Wolf Creek.
Rich, remember that book, Dead Solid Perfect? This is what this hole's all about, because you must hit that tee shot solid. You've got to carry all the trouble in front of you. And remind yourself, too, there's enough green grass down there. Not necessarily green, but green grass around there. A good shot safely on the putting surface here, and this green's not too severe. But this is a fun par 3 just to look at, or even at least experience.
Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. Beautiful shot. That is tight.
Unbelievable. That is one to savor for the rest of the round.
Par yesterday. Now for birdie. Wow, he needed that, Frank, in the worst way.
Interesting to see what's ahead from now, whether that was just a flash in the pan or the start of something good.
From a par 3 to a par 5. Here at the 12th, it measures 560 yards, a sweeping dogleg left, and there is some trouble down that left side.
This is a scary tee shot. There's no two ways about it, Rich. You've got to get the ball in play because you can really rack up a good score here. That water very much in play. Doesn't matter what club you decide to hit off the tee. 560 yards actually is reachable, believe it or not. But you've got to get it on the fairway. You don't really have to be too brave and try and take too much over there. The other thing, too, to consider about is this green is nearly half the length of an NFL football field. It's 55 yards from the front of this green to the back of the green.
So from the rough back to the fairway, that's the right way to go.
Yeah, didn't take the bait. And at least now he's only going to play the price of a poor tee shot. Still got a good chance, though, getting away with par.
He's making the game look very simple right now. See it, hit it, and he's got it right on track. All right, Frank, now a chance to begin to turn it around.
It's got to start somewhere. Really, the first display of golf we saw was poor, but now this is what people expect.
So early on the backside, here at the 12th hole, missed opportunity. Locked in on the read and the speed. Everything has gone wrong today. It just continues to be ugly. 13th hole, and Frank, Wolf Creek is really kind of a macho golf course because you can stand on a tee like this and say, you know what? I'm going to take this one over the mountains.
And then, if you do, then you flip the coin. Is it in play or is it out of play? This is one hole. You just you realize you're in the middle of the desert, that's for sure. And one hole that you think, well, if I play this hole a couple of times, I might just get the hang of it. Now, this game is all about variables, right? Rich, if you hit into a bad lie, it completely changes the nature of the next shot. When the ball sits up like that, it is just liberty of choice now.
Well, this one should be safely on deck here. On the green, and looking at a birdie opportunity. Bogey here yesterday, chance to better that today. So a long putt there and just didn't read it quite right.
It's no snack, though.
Frank, we see it every single round. These kind of putts determine whether it's a good score or an average score.
Yeah, and just like that, a bogey. And does not feel like he deserves it.
Well, that's a tough break with that miss right there. Just a sloppy hole, no other way to say it, and it results in a double bogey. Now to the 14th hole, and Frank, this is probably the best par 4 here at Wolf Creek.
Well, it's certainly the hole that they take the most photographs on, Rich, and you can see why. Great vantage point of the whole golf course. The hole's just sort of littered with bunkers down the left side, so you know where not to go once again. Go to the right side of that. Hole just keeps sort of hooking around that left side. It plays under 450 yards. It's fun. Just sort of draw it a little off the tee, draw it a little into the green, and you'll be fine.
Right where they were aiming, in the fairway. This is position A, right in the fairway, and 180 yards to go.
Off the flight path again.
Not missing by much today, but enough to again be in the bunker.
And an awkward little bunker shot. Just splash it out, let the ball run towards the flag.
Wow, what a shot.
What are the chances of making it from there?
Here at the 15th hole here at Wolf Creek, bit of a breather here. Nice, short par 3. You don't want to miss this green.
No, that's the temptation there. If you try and bite off a little too much because it looks a little too easy, then a bogey here and you're in a bad mood all of a sudden at Wolf Creek.
Frank, in the changing weather conditions, players have so many different options, don't they? Some might like to play it high, others might want to play it a little lower along the ground.
You really got to be on your toes today because of that, Rich, and really that's what separates the men from the boys, so to speak. You know that any mistake you make can obviously be magnified by the wind conditions, but conversely, it's a real good chance for skill to shine.
He'd settle for par here. Getting set now over the putt. And you almost lose count at this point. Safe to say, not under par, in fact, well over par. Now to the 16th hole as we get set for the finishing stretch. And Frank, what's the best way to play this relatively short par 4?
Somehow you've got to straighten the hole up in your mind's eye, Rich. Just look all the way across that canyon and look like the hole was built straight, because really that's the way it should be played. If you start looking left and turning it into a dogleg, then all of a sudden bad things can happen. So look straight at the green. That's your line. Just try and bisect those two fairway bunkers. Game's about rhythm. When you have good rhythm, it just looks effortless. To hit the ball 300 yards through the air, that easy.
Just a good solid tee shot right there, about 280 yards. Always a little trick. Your club selection is key, playing downhill in this shot. Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid. See if you can get this one to drop here at the 16th for a birdie. Boy, this could be a tough one right here, Frank.
It's a very long putt, Rich. Obviously, it's difficult, but he still has a shot to sink this one for birdie.
Kind of a tricky read. These putts keep the round together. Well, not in contention, but in for par. Frank, you licking your chops here at the par 5, 17th hole?
Oh, why not? A chance to reach a par 5 and 2, but there's still pitfalls in front of you. A little creek or stream runs across the fairway, so really limiting the distance you can hit that tee shot, but it's still reachable from just short of that creek. Find trouble off the tee, then obviously you turn it into a 3-shotter, but a good tee shot, and it's too tempting to resist not going for this green.
Pretty good drive here.
Another straight one.
Well, those are good numbers right there. 320, 320 yards. Just crushed it in the fairway.
Second shot.
That was a big, bold strike, and now a chance for a big, bold move. Putt for eagle coming up. Settles in over the putt. Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Wow, that was so close, Frank.
Just time to forget that one. I mean, he couldn't hit that much better.
Then a rocky round. Now the closing hole here at Wolf Creek. Frank, what's ahead of us?
You could try and drive at this green, but there's too much trouble, really, Rich. Even though this hole's just over 300 yards, it's very ambitious to try and drive it across that water. Some might try. Most people try and hit a tee shot 240, 250 yard mark, and of course, you do the maths, you're only going to have 60 or 70 yards in, and, well, they want you to finish on a good note. So good drive in the fairway here, or 3 wood, pitch it on the green, make a 3, and buy your friends a drink in the clubhouse.
Paying attention like a little kid at school, Frank. That baby's sitting up.
Sitting up. It's got the best view as well. You don't even need binoculars from where that ball is.
Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. Stuffed it in there really close, and now just a tap in. Made a par in his previous round. This time, it's for birdie. Will it last? A birdie. Frank, disappointing couple of rounds there.
And consequently a miscut. No chance playing in the weekend, but there's more than one tournament ahead.
EA Sports and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live first-round coverage of the Boston Championship. Always nice to be in New England at this time of year at the TPC Boston in Massachusetts. We're about 25 miles south of Beantown, and this is a really good-looking golf course, Frank.
It is. It looks much older than what it is. It was first established just at the start of the new millennium, originally designed by Arnold Palmer. But it got that older look from Gil Hanse and Brad Faxon. But also, too, you know, if you're racking up a few points out there, or score, should I say, remember Gillette Stadium, home of the Patriots, just down the road.
And let's go down to the first. Frank, were you the kind of player who actually might have been worried if you didn't have first tee jitters?
Definitely. You didn't have the energy if that was the case. But it's about turning that energy into some sort of positive form. Make nice full swings. Pick some good targets. And, of course, you never know what's going to happen. Ah, nice.
Looks good. A good opening shot here at the first, right in the middle of the fairway. Good swing, excellent rhythm. And he's set up for his second shot here, looking to knock it on the green.
Should be safely on deck.
On the green. And a chance for birdie here on the first hole. Birdie chance here. Very long putt, though.
Got to be a little careful if it gets away on him.
And getting ready for the putt. Even par early on. Par 5 second hole, it's 540 yards. Birdie opportunity, Frank?
Birdie or eagle, but that second shot all the way across water. So you're going to have to hit a good tee shot to go for this par 5 and 2.
He makes a great pass at the golf ball. It's powerful, but it's rhythmic at the same time. And that's going to stay on the fairway here at the second hole. Playing his second shot here at the par 5. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Vijay Singh, Charlie Hoffman, and Big Henrik Stenson, they all have one thing in common. They all tied for the low tournament score at TPC Boston, 22 under.
And they're all good. Yeah, this is a golf course that obviously gives in to the longer hitters. And if there's just a little bit of sting taken out of the greens, then these long hitters have a huge advantage.
Good try, just didn't quite read the break, Frank.
It shouldn't be a problem, you'd think, cleaning up here for par.
Just a couple of feet. Been a little too much of that, Frank, just sort of ho-hum pars. So we started with a short par 4, then the par 5 second, now a par 3 here at the third, Frank.
Got an L-shaped green just protected by that bunker on the right, so be very careful where that flag's located.
This is a good-looking shot. Frank, it hit the green, but just didn't have enough backspin.
Yeah, you wonder what he's thinking on that.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. Either misjudged the win or simply just pulled the wrong club, Frank.
Gonna take some skill now.
Frank, this is where the mental game really comes into play. You've hit a second consecutive shot into the rough.
This could compound very, very quickly, so now's the chance to just take a little breath, take a breather, and try to make sure this shot certainly gets out.
Yes, he's holed it, Frank.
Unbelievable. From that distance.
Frank, at 298 yards, the fourth is reachable for just about every professional. What might scare them off?
Well, that bunker on the left, that's really actually a chance to showcase your skills. And that's where you realize how much better professional golfers are. A good bunker play, especially on a hole like 4, and then you will get well rewarded.
This is a great place for a fan to watch, isn't it?
It is. You see so many different short shots around this green. The bunker shots from the left side, if you hit it over the back on the right, the little bump and run through the little valley in the green. Fun hole to watch.
Perfectly placed tee shot will set up an eagle opportunity, but then you see quite a few bogeys made here as well.
Yeah, if you stray a little bit, leave the ball too far short, then you have to play that pitch across the bunker. That's no fun.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag. Well, that's the best that was going to be on the fringe.
Not too bad. made the green. Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. Okay, has it, and stays at 1 over par. Fifth hole, and we pick up the action. Frank, what have you seen in the early going from our featured golfer?
A little bit of a struggle, unsurprisingly, really. Rich, just a little messy. This wasn't to be expected. Time to sort of tighten all the screws there, have a rethink, and try and put some red numbers on the board. Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. Getting set for this next shot from the rough, what does the player need to be careful of here, Frank?
Well, this is where we're going to see exactly how good they are because, you know, that's not exactly the best lie, but it's sort of doable if you know what you're doing.
Well, this is going to be an interesting day. The wind is howling, or as they would say in Scotland, just a wee breeze. So missed the fairway, and now he's back where he needs to be.
Yeah, minimize the problems.
Frank, you like his chances to walk away with a par here?
Well, with a good shot, Rich, yeah, that's certainly on the cards in that. And you think you just write a par down at the end of the hole. Don't tell anyone about it. It certainly won't affect the scorecard at the end of the day. So that's the goal right here.
He'll be pretty happy with that one. About 20 feet away in a good spot. 21 feet from pay dirt. That would have been a real bonus had it dropped, but as it is, good putt. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Good stroke, just came up empty. He has to make this for a double bogey. So, with that, 3 over par now for the round. Ready now at the 6th. It is a tricky 465-yard par 4.
Yeah, hit it through the chute. Water comes into play a little bit down the left if you're a long hitter. There's something about a well-hit shot.
They'll be happy with that. In the fairway, now a good chance to attack this hole. Sitting up in the fairway now, 180 yards away. Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid. On the dance floor here at the 6th, but still a pretty hard putt coming up, about 30 feet away. And it's a long way to the hole from here. Never easy. Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Got it for par.